Weather Extra. And as we take a look at what's going on weather headline wise over the next few days, we're going to be dealing with some hotter conditions here as we move ahead. And we're also going to be talking about isolated afternoon storms back in our forecast and tracking Hurricane Agatha that will be impacting parts of Mexico. Actually made a landfall as a Category 2 winds of 105 miles per hour there over the Pacific. If you checked in with Lauren and checked in with Matt and Mickey earlier today, that's a system we've been talking about here for a little while, but that one could try to redevelop what's left of that. I was actually loading up some of the updated radar images, show you where some very active weather's happening across parts of the country. You can see tornado watches stretching across the Midwest. There's a rare moderate risk for severe weather happening here across this part of the country, and you can see some severe storms and tornado warning there near looks like just to the west there, Minneapolis. The way that's tracking, I think that actual tornadic part of the storm it's going to be close. Maybe the northern portions of Minneapolis there is that system. It's moving very quickly here. You can see that little curvature showing up in this line here of severe storms, and that's likely where we're getting that circulation around Lesser Prairie and tracking to the north and east direction. In Grand Rapids, those storms closing in, and those are severe, but a lot of active weather. Minnesota has been one of the hot spots today, and typically, you get in a mid to late summer. That's where you see a lot of the severe weather, but already that storm track shifting well on north of us. Right now, this is a live look, and we're in good shape. Of course, it's a holiday. Not a lot of folks out there on the roadways today, but the weather certainly cooperating with anyone traveling, except I'm noticing around the Atlanta area, we're getting quite a bit of scattered storm activity. You can see there, hopefully not too many delays coming into the Atlanta Hartsfield International Airport, but you can see some of those storms holding together, and the way they're moving, they're actually tracking around a high pressure ridge is keeping us mainly dry, but as those showers track to the north there, they may hold together. Weiss Lake, that's one area. I want to give you that first alert. Keep an eye on some of these pop-ups that are moving in our direction there. You can see tracking to the north. Actually, looks like the airport in Atlanta is just south of town. Looks like most of that storm activity there moving on by. And interesting here, it's actually moving to the north and west direction, so that's going to be the general motion back towards, again, I mentioned center. The way this is moving, 89 in Tuscaloosa. We did break into the 90s here in West Alabama today. We also touched 90 in Birmingham. You can see 88 right now, so the temperature's dropped off a few degrees. In East Alabama, 87, feeling more humid. Dew points are a bit higher, and that's why we're seeing a little bit of that wet weather and that scattered storm activity not too far away. But as we look at this evening, we've got that small chance for a pop-up, and that chance is mostly for those areas across far east Alabama as far as the chance for showers and storms. That's where we'll see some of those pop-ups happening, and we'll be talking about greater chances for scattered storms and showers once we get into the mid to end of the week. But we do have more to come here on First Alert Weather Extra. I'll show you what's on the way. We are going beyond the 7-day forecast, and coming up, we've got the beach forecast. We're going to talk all about Hurricane Agatha and how what's left of that could end up in the Gulf region and where it's going, and also the chance of seeing a meteor shower tonight. It's a chance. It could happen, may not happen. What's that all about? We'll explain after this. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra. The next big thing gives you a heads up days ahead of the next big storm system. The next 24 gives you the most accurate and updated look at tomorrow. And the next 60 gives you a 60-minute advantage against Mother Nature. Knowing what's next, days, hours, or minutes away, this is why we First Alert.
When we declare First Alert Weather Day, it's all hands on deck. We're on your side and in your hand with the First Alert Weather app. While Wes and the rest of the team track changes moment to moment, the app keeps you prepared and safe with video and alerts for your neighborhood. And if the power goes out, no worries, you can stream us anywhere. It's easy and it's always on. Stay ahead of Alabama weather. Just scan and tap and have the First Alert Weather app. This is why we First Alert.
On Good Day Alabama, we treat severe weather with the highest priority. It's more than just meteorologists. Everyone plays a part. Having more reporters in more places takes you beyond the First Alert, showing you the impact that we see on radar. We're live in your neighborhood when you need us. On air, online, and on the app. That's the advantage of having the most reporters on your side. That's the advantage of Good Day Alabama.
Our lives revolve around planning for what's next, like the next ball game.
One hot dog with ketchup? It's the same with weather. That's why we're on your side with the next big thing, the next 60, and the next 24. Knowing what's next, days, hours, or minutes away.
This is why we First Alert. Who puts ketchup on a hot dog?
Getting live breaking news and local updates has never been easier. That's because we're on your side with the WBRC streaming app. Need updates between newscasts? You can catch up quick here. And when we're live on TV, we're live here too. Just search WBRC on your Roku, Amazon Fire, or Apple TV. WBRC Fox 6 News is on your side.
First Alert Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I want to bring in meteorologist Lauren Linehan. And Lauren, you were talking about this last night. I was getting those updates as well on Agatha, made a landfall. And, you know, it's not too uncommon this time of year to see a system in the Pacific. But a lot of folks I know interested in all this talk about what's going on in the Gulf region. What do you have for us?
Well, Wes, that's the big question. Okay, Agatha's in the Pacific. It's actually made landfall in Mexico a couple of hours ago, but what could happen to Agatha once it moves through Mexico? That's where all of the question marks are. But here is Agatha right now. It made landfall in southern Mexico as a Category 2 hurricane with max sustained winds at 105 miles per hour. As we look at that potential forecast track for Agatha, we are going to be seeing it eventually continuing to move inland. And let me make sure that this is in play mode here so we can go forward. There we go, right there. So notice as we go forward in time, it is going to be weakening. You've got this mountainous terrain in Mexico, and so that's going to allow those wind speeds to come down. It's not going to be as strong, so there's a possibility that as this reemerges in the Gulf of Mexico, there might not be much to it. But there's also a possibility that as we see the remnants of Agatha enter the Bay of Campeche in the Gulf, that maybe there could be some redevelopment. And if that does in fact happen, then that's when we're going to be seeing that potential for Agatha to maybe become something else once it gets into the Atlantic basin, because right now it's been in the Pacific basin, but once it crosses over into Mexico, into the Gulf, it's part of the Atlantic basin. And the Pacific hurricane season in the Eastern Pacific actually starts a couple weeks ahead of our hurricane season here in the Atlantic. So if Agatha moves inland and does end up becoming a storm, you can see where the National Hurricane Center has highlighted this potential around the Yucatan Peninsula for a medium chance of development over the next 5 days. Could be redevelopment of Agatha's remnants, an area of low pressure developing. If that were to happen and it could eventually become a named system, it would be Alex. So it would be a little different than what we see over in the Pacific. You have different names for the Western Pacific, Eastern Pacific Basin, and the Atlantic Basin. So Alex is the next one. So we'll see if Agatha eventually becomes Alex. Either way, I will say it doesn't look like it's going to be an issue for us, especially here in central Alabama, but I don't even think at this point it could be an issue for the Gulf Coast of Alabama. So again, the National Hurricane Center has highlighted that region. And our spaghetti models here are showing kind of a general consensus that it would move potentially over the Yucatan Peninsula and then come towards the Caribbean. The question is, once it gets towards the Caribbean, would it end up steering a little farther to the north and to the Florida Peninsula? Could it go over the mountainous terrain of Cuba? So there are still a lot of questions. I mean, a lot of times our weather models can't pinpoint what's going to happen this far out, especially if nothing's even formed yet. Of course, you have Agatha, but we don't have the system that it could eventually become. So we're waiting to get in some better data in the days ahead. What I'm going to show you here is our American model showcasing one possibility. And what I'm showing you is just one run of the model. These run a couple of times, several times a day even, and we have lots of different data that we're looking at. So this is just one scenario. So you see Agatha as it moves over land, it breaks up because you've got that mountainous terrain. So it loses that inner core. But once it gets back out over the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, if those remnants can do it and it can organize again, you could potentially get a tropical system like a tropical depression, maybe a tropical storm that could be moving through the Caribbean. Some models have showcased that this could be moving up the Florida Peninsula and then eventually up the Atlantic coast. This one in particular is showing it keeping it pretty south of the United States, maybe impacts on South Florida. It looks like it could certainly be a rainmaker for areas to our south. But again, notice as we're going forward in time here, this is Saturday, looking ahead to the weekend. Birmingham, Alabama, our area is still going to be on the dry side. Maybe this could eventually go back out to sea. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on this over the next few days, Wes, but I mean, we are right on the cusp of hurricane season starting in just 2 days from now.
Yeah, you know, Lauren, it seems like over the holiday weekend, I saw so many tweets about, and we can keep the double box there. We can go back to Lauren here and Michael. We can go back to Lauren. We were talking about the tropical system out in the Pacific, and I saw so many social media tweets about that particular system, and a lot of times I see so much information shared about these systems in the Pacific that have no chance of impacting us.
Yeah, that was the thing too. Sometimes we're so focused. A lot of times people will ask if they're going on vacation. Oh, what's the weather going to be like in so-and-so? I'm like, I don't know. I'm only focused on central Alabama. I'm certainly not paying attention to what's going on outside of our area, especially in the Pacific. But this was an example of where a lot of people are talking about a storm in the Pacific. Sometimes we're just like, well, that doesn't have anything to do with our weather here. But the more we looked into it, it's like, oh, Agatha could actually have an impact on weather in the Gulf of Mexico. May not be for the Alabama Gulf Coast, but if you're traveling to Florida, certainly something to watch.
Say not so fast on this one.
Right.
And sometimes in the monsoon season, which is a seasonal, a lot of people think monsoon means rain, but it's a seasonal change in the wind direction. In late summer, it can actually pull some of those Pacific systems north, but it's amazing how quickly those things weaken as they get closer to the southwest coast because of those colder water temperatures.
That's so true. And something we do have to keep in mind this time of the year, if this little storm or the remnants of Agatha go into the Gulf, this is the time of the year when you do see development, those homegrown storms in the Gulf, versus at the peak of hurricane season, oftentimes we'll see these waves coming off of the west coast of Africa and traveling across the Atlantic basin. But this is the time of the year that, you can see one spin up in the Gulf on its own.
And that's a great point, is the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean. Sometimes you think you have to see these easterly waves just move all the way across the Atlantic to end up with a hurricane like a Katrina or an Ivan. But really, you think of Hurricane Michael, some of the worst hurricanes we've had, Katrina, those things went from like a tropical storm to a powerful Category 4 hurricane in no time, like a day or two.
And that's just a testament to the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah. It's like lighter fluid, and we've already been seeing this early on in the season. Temperatures are running above average in the Gulf, so that's certainly something to keep in mind. You get something that encounters maybe some low wind shear. The winds are favorable for organization. If it's got that lighter fluid injected into it, you never know.
All right, Lauren, so talking tropical weather already, here we go. The hurricane season starting on June the 1st, and we may have the first system in the Gulf here this week we're going to be talking about. Very common to see tropical storms early in the season around this region. So what about us? I know Lauren mentioned not a lot of tropical impacts as far as Alabama's concerned, or at least what we think right now based on the way this system is going to move, but we could see some scattered storms and showers. I'll get into more specifics on our rain chances right after this as we continue on First Alert Weather Extra.
Every morning on Good Day Alabama, we know the news that matters the most to you is the news that hits closest to home.
And we know that to tell the best story means going to where the story is. That's why having more reporters in more places is so essential.
Giving you more local stories that impact your family, your school, and your safety.
On air, online, and on the app.
That's the advantage of having the most reporters on your side. That's the advantage of Good Day Alabama.
I hear from people all the time with questions about healthcare, their insurance, and the safety of certain treatments. I'm Morgan Hightower, and I investigate these stories because if I were being taken advantage of, or if my family couldn't get the help they needed, I would want to know how to take action. That's why WBRC Fox 6 News investigates. We're on your side, getting answers, keeping you informed and safe. Contact us when you need a team on your side.
Get pinpoint locations down to your street level on the First Alert Weather app. You can download by searching WBRC in your app store. That's accuracy you can plan on.
I hear from people all the time having problems with their landlord or worry about being ripped off by a bad business. I'm Josh Gann, and I investigate stories like these because if I had questions about protecting my finances or how to save more money, I would want the best advice available. That's why WBRC Fox 6 News investigates. We're on your side getting answers. keeping you informed and safe. Contact us when you need a team on your side.
Get first alert weather and breaking news. Follow us on Twitter. Search at WBRC News.
Get first alert weather and breaking news. Follow us on Facebook. Search at WBRC News.
Hey, let's take a look at the beach. This is the beach as of this morning. We saw the red flags flying down in Gulf Shores, and it looks like it's pretty populated there. Got some pretty kites flying with people headed to the beach, the unofficial start of summertime. So your rip current forecast, it's a moderate rip current. Some individual cities like Gulf Shores are putting up different, well, they've got the red flags up, as I mentioned, there in the Gulf Shores. So be careful getting in the water with that moderate rip current. Keep in mind the Gulf water temperature is 81 degrees. It was 80 degrees last week, so it's starting to warm up just a little bit out there. And here is your forecast for tomorrow going into Wednesday down at the Gulf Coast. We're looking at sunshine, and the temperatures down there even cooler than they are here. We're talking low 80s to maybe mid 80s at the most. Here is a look at some of the model data as we look into the next few days, and you can see maybe an isolated shower towards Pensacola or Gulf Shores a couple of days from now. And later on this week, it looks pretty dry. So that's pretty much a summertime weather pattern. And your 7-day beach forecast looking like this. So we've got just a 10 to 20% chance of showers each and every day. Highs, like I said, a little cooler than they are here at home. We're talking low to mid 80s, overnight lows in the 70s, Gulf water temperature at 81 degrees, so enjoy. And while you're down there, you got to take some pictures for us and send them in through our First Alert Weather app. Just scroll down to the bottom, and there'll be pictures that we can share here on Weather Extra or on some of our news programs. So be sure and share and be safe, and we'll see you back here when you get home.
All right, Mickey, let's talk about our 7-day forecast here at home over the next couple of days, and we're seeing that chance for isolated afternoon storms returning. Looks like Thursday, the better rain chance, and this weekend we'll see a few afternoon pop-ups for Saturday and Sunday. But at this point, don't see a washout this weekend, but it's going to be very summer-like. It certainly looks like a summer forecast. We've got quite a bit of scattered shower and storm activity around the Atlanta area, moving back to the northwest direction. If that holds together, I'm thinking we could see some impacts here, places like Piedmont and perhaps over around Weiss Lake. You can see those scattered showers there tracking to the north, and they are holding together, so giving you that first alert. And did see a couple of sprinkles trying to show up around Vance, and I noticed north of Jasper there, a little shower, but really not much to that. Not seeing any big storms or big lightning producers out there next 24 hours as we go through the overnight and into the day on Tuesday. Mostly dry conditions through the morning, and you can see in the afternoon through lunchtime, another big rise into the mid to upper 80s. If you have another day off tomorrow for summer vacation and perhaps going to be out by the pool, it looks like some great poolside weather there for tomorrow. But working outdoors, not expecting a lot of rain, but the afternoon there could be again some isolated storms in East Alabama. I'd water the tomatoes tomorrow, certainly do that. The rain's going to be very hit or miss again the next couple days, but some indications, as you can see there in our forecast data, that we'll see some of those pop-ups. And based on what we're seeing today on the radar, and that's what you have to do this time of year many times, follow those daytime radar trends and seeing those scattered storms riding around high pressure back to the east of us. Some of that will start to work into East Alabama tomorrow. And then what happens, that ridge over the state that's providing this rising building heat that we have across Alabama, well, that ridge starts to break down a little bit by Thursday, and that's when some showers and storms could become more widespread. Still afternoon, I think that's a greater chance there during the day, afternoon pop-ups. And then after that, we'll see a more limited coverage into the day on Friday. But again, Thursday looks like the day there with a next best chance of rain area-wide. But tomorrow, certainly check the radar in the afternoon, as there could be some wet weather out there, but that heat level on the rise, and it's certainly going to start feeling more humid over the next couple days. Notice the overnight low. We had overnight lows in the 50s in some areas going into the Memorial Day weekend, and by the middle of the week, instead of lows in the 50s in many areas, lows near 70. So that tropical feel is certainly going to be coming back this week. Well, Lauren, you did a great job giving us an update there on Agatha and where that system was going. I know you've been looking at some of that long-range data, keeping that tropical system in mind. What else are you seeing out there? I know last week we were talking about the possibility of some big-time heat on the way. Are we still seeing that?
I don't think it's out of the question, Wes, that we could see the heat crank it up here within the next couple of weeks. One thing we could be seeing, I know we're not expecting to get any rain from the tropics this time around. Looks like if there were to be remnants of Agatha to redevelop, they would likely stay to our south. But nevertheless, as we look at the rainfall outlook from 8 to 14 days from now, if we zoom in here on Alabama, it is highlighting across parts of central Alabama. There could be a slight chance for some above average rain chances. Doesn't look overly promising, but I think we're just getting into that time of the year where you get those summertime pop-ups, so we maybe could see some unsettled weather at times. So that would mean, I know a lot of you are wondering about your lawns and gardens. What about when do I need a water? Well, as we look beyond the 7-day, looking at our futurecast here, this is showing June 7th on a Tuesday, so a little over a week from now, we could be seeing still some unsettled weather in the Gulf of Mexico, but it actually wouldn't be out of the question that we see some rain in our neck of the woods too, showing a little dip in the jet stream that could allow some disturbances to bring a better chance of some showers and storms, maybe a little front. Now, when you see a front come in through the summertime, normally doesn't mean there's going to be a big cool down, but it can serve as a focal point for showers and storms to develop. So it looks like maybe not this upcoming weekend, but the weekend after that, as we get into June 11th and 12th, I do think we could be seeing that little dip in the jet stream again, which could indicate some unsettled weather. So you see that unsettled weather, that little dip, it indicates some disturbances could bring a better chance for some rain and storms as we get into next weekend. So I don't think it's out of the question that we could see some higher rain chances once we get into next week, but it doesn't look like it would be from any tropical system. So in the meantime, we're just basically talking a chance for some showers and storms at times, just kind of transitioning to that summertime pattern. And Wes, as you were mentioning, that 8 to 14 day temperature outlook is suggesting that across the Gulf Coast, we could be seeing above average temperatures. So that's certainly something that we're going to be thinking about if you do have, whether you're going to be staying here at home or going down to the Gulf Coast. You've got that chance of some pop-up thunderstorms. You've got a chance of some above average heat. We're talking maybe getting into the mid 90s. I mean, it's not out of the question, but it doesn't seem too unusual. It's summertime in June, right?
Yeah, we just, I don't want to see the triple digits. I was going to try to bring up the Gulf Shores camera here for you, Lauren, and let you see. You were mentioning the Gulf Coast a few moments ago, but I noticed earlier today the Gulf, the coast was packed, but you can see those red flags there and still choppy water. I know Mickey was talking about that beach forecast a few moments ago. What's kind of cool tonight, something that's happening, and Lauren, you talked a little bit about this last night. There's a possibility that we could see a meteor shower. Where to look and if this will happen, that's the big question. We'll explain after this. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra. Stay with us.
Getting live breaking news and local updates has never been easier. That's because we're on your side with the WBRC streaming app. Need updates between newscasts? You can catch up quick here. And when we're live on TV, we're live here too, giving you more ways to get caught up with everything happening where you live. Plus, exclusive videos from your First Alert weather team. It's easy to use and it's free. Just search WBRC on your Roku, Amazon Fire, or Apple TV. WBRC Fox 6 News is on your side.
You've got enough to worry about every day. That's why the First Alert Weather Team is on your side, so you can plan with confidence and take the worry out of weather. With exclusive First Alert AccuTrack, we pinpoint storms before they arrive. And with Weather Every 6, you are always informed. Alabama's weather changes fast, but we're working even faster, updating and alerting you first. We know your plans are important. This is why we First Alert.
Every morning on Good Day Alabama, we're on your side, trying to get you where you're going safely. First Alert Traffic updates you on slowdowns and gives you alternate routes. Having more reporters covering the roads you drive on gives you even more info to help you know more about why it happened and when it will be cleared. On air, online, and on the app. That's the advantage of having the most reporters on your side. That's the advantage of Good Day Alabama.
I get calls and emails all the time from people wanting to know how cities, counties, and the state are spending their tax dollars. I'm Jennifer Horton, and I investigate how your tax dollars are being used because I don't want your money or mine wasted or fraudulently spent by politicians in power. That's why WBRC Fox 6 News investigates. We're on your side, following the paper trail, asking the tough questions, and giving you the facts. Contact us when you need a team on your side.
All right, do you like to view up into the stars at night, maybe wish upon a shooting star? Well, there's a chance. There's a chance there could be a lot of stars that you could be making wishes for tonight, but it's a chance. It's not a guarantee. Welcome to science and the logistics of uncertainty, shall I say. So this is what we call the Tau Herculid meteor shower, and it could be a meteor storm. It just depends if we're in the right spot at the right time. And what is the difference between a meteor shower or a meteor storm? Meteor shower, you see maybe 30, 40 shooting stars per hour. A meteor storm, you can see several in a matter of minutes. And it could be quite a view. So we'll see what happens. We'll cross our fingers. I think we'll see a mostly clear to partly cloudy sky overnight, so we should see an ideal viewing. But you got to watch it tonight. It's going to be right around midnight when it's supposed to peak. So I would start gazing outside around 11 p.m. up until 1 a.m. But midnight tonight is when you really want to view it. And this is when the Earth passes through the debris trails of a broken comet. And if the shower occurs, they could be faint and they might be slow moving as well. So it's something interesting to watch. But just to give you an idea, this was the comet. This was back in 2006. It was called Comet 73P. And this is an image from NASA through their space telescope showing little fragments from that comet being broken apart and creating all of those little shooting stars. So this was just a view of that. So we're going to be passing right through that, and that's why they're predicting maybe around midnight. But there's a lot of uncertainty with this. Some are saying, you know, if these things don't move forward fast enough, we might not even see it, and we'll just have to cross our fingers and see what happens. But if by some chance you're able to view this tonight and able to send us some video, photos, anything like that, definitely would love to see that. You can just submit it through the WBRC First Alert weather app. Just scroll down, you'll see that camera with the 6. Submit it, let us know where you saw it. And I guarantee you, if I see those videos, we're going to be showing it on Good Day Alabama, and we'll show it right here as well on Weather Extra. So we'll cross our fingers. Not a promise, not a guarantee, but if it happens, I tell you, this could be a pretty cool thing to see. So we'll see what happens.
Well, hopefully we were able to see a couple of meteors overhead tonight. You got to make a wish, though, if you see the shooting star, right? All right, next 7 days, we got a chance of wet weather coming back. Scattered storms and showers. We'll certainly see some raindrops in some areas returning this week. And the temperatures close to 90 degrees. Looks like summertime in Alabama. And we'll talk more about the June forecast, tracking that Hurricane Agatha and what's left of that. I'll show you the updated models on where that's going. We're going to be watching that closely over the next few days, so certainly check in with us tonight for updates 9, 9:30, and 10 on WBRC Fox 6 News. Enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day.